Okay, today you're going to be signing up for really important online resources. We use these all the time in debate. They're closely connected to a bunch of future assignments, especially because the district blocked YouTube, then we use these a lot. So make sure that you are really paying attention to detail today. That if you have questions, you ask every time. This would not be the kind of assignment that you want to guess on. And this recording is the kind of thing that you need to watch, pause, take a step. Watch, pause, take a step. Because for real, if you don't, you're going to miss a lot of little details and it will affect your assessment points. So if you didn't already, you open up this link under step 2, and that's what you'll end up turning in. So the instructions say that you'll type your initials next to each checklist item to show that you completed that task. It's worth 10 assessment points because it's so important that you follow the steps carefully. So don't think that you could just go through and start putting your initials and turn this in and call it done. I'll be able to very, very, very easily tell if you didn't actually follow these steps. So there's some safeguards built in, so careful about that. Then it does say, just like I mentioned, don't just guess. Sometimes the mistakes, if you make certain ones, they're annoying for you to have to fix. Not for me, but like you'll have to email customer service, you have to wait a couple of days and all sorts of stuff. So just be careful. Ask for help when you need it. So let's just go step by step. Step 1, you're going to this website right here. Okay, looks like this. And this is a pretty typical just signing up for anytime you sign up for an account online. There are a few details though that does make this easier, so pay attention here. One of the first tricks, see this asterisk? Those red dot or red stars mean that that step is required. So you can actually save yourself a bunch of time. If you don't want to do some of this middle stuff, if it doesn't have the red star, you don't have to do it. You could just straight up skip it. So when it comes to your name, make sure you use your name that's in Skyward. Sometimes, there's like an Isabella that goes by Izzy, stuff like that. Make sure you use your real full name. Use proper capitalization because this does also appear on your certificate that hangs up on the wall in the back of the classroom. So you don't have to do your middle name, but definitely do first and last name and spell them right. And then I warned you guys about this part yesterday, that for your email, and this goes back to this checklist. It says, number 2, I have an email other than my CSD Docs email. Unfortunately, CSD Docs doesn't let outside sources email in, and that creates a problem for this website. So if you don't have a personal email, if you didn't do that email that we talked about, then you're going to need to talk to me because you really can't do the rest of this if you don't have a personal email. So if you do have one and you came prepared, then you just put your initials saying, yep, I actually followed that step. So then that becomes your username. That becomes your future login. So you just put your email and then you do your email one more time here. Okay, password. Unfortunately, your school password won't work for this. It's just not strong enough. So type a password until, keep adding letters or capitals or special symbols until it says that it's strong. And that might take you a minute to figure it out. But again, adding capitals, adding symbols, adding letters, that kind of stuff, making sure it's long, all that should make it until it becomes actually strong. So then at this step, you're going to pause because it says I wrote down my login and password on a doc that I created in my Google Drive called NSDA login and password in case I forget it in the future. So this happens every single year that kids don't actually follow the step, and then they're trying to do future assignments. They're like, wait, how do I sign in? And I'm like, remember, you should have written it down. So in the future, when you forget, then you can just go search in your Google Drive. So I recommend just copying and pasting here. Copy this part that says NSDA login and password. Then go open up a new blank Google Doc, just like I have here. So you would paste that title there. Your login is the email that you just put, and the password is whatever you just created. And then now you have this for the future. Okay. Then let's go back to this checklist. It says, here's a screenshot that I took of the Google Doc where I actually wrote down my login and password. You could take a picture with your cell phone if you want, but you can also just screenshot this. So once you screenshot it, I did get a lot of questions last year of how do I add the screenshot. So I just took a picture, and now click here, go to this picture button right here, insert image, upload from computer, and yours will probably just be in your downloads folder. Okay. If you need help with that, ask me. Okay. So let's go back to signing up here. So you could skip all the stuff. They ask for this stuff just because there are scholarships they give people, there's awards they give people, so they're asking if they can contact you. But this is a really trustworthy website. I've never had any problems. I've used it for forever. It's really trustworthy, so you're not going to get anything bad. They're asking these questions because they just are trying to get a feel for who is using their website. You don't have to do them, though, because again, it doesn't have the red star. And then on roll, you're a student. So you see how there's a red star on this one. You do have to click I agree to abide by the National Speech and Debate Codes of Honor, which you are welcome to go look at if you want. You do have to agree to their terms and conditions, so you would click that. This one you don't have to do because there's no red star. Yes, please contact me about scholarship opportunities. If you are interested in future scholarship stuff, then you would click I agree, but you don't have to. You do have to say you're not a robot before it works. Okay, so if all goes well, if you actually followed these instructions carefully, when you press submit, then it will give you a confirmation. If something goes wrong, it'll pop up and be like, error, you did this part wrong, and then it will give you a chance to fix it. If you're stuck, ask me and I'll help you get it fixed. Okay? So, come back to your checklist here. Yep, I went through the login, I did all those steps. So, after you're done, then exit out of this tab, open up a new tab, go to speechanddebate.org. Then you're going to go log in using all that information you just did. So right here, member login. And I'm going to log in with a former student so you can kind of see what it looks like from the student end of things. But again, you wrote down your login and password, so you're just using that login now. And your checklist says, I connected my account to Albion. It's going to automatically prompt you to do that when you log in for the first time. And it's going to ask you to put your graduation year, and it's asking for your middle school graduation year. So let's look at this. When you log in for the first time, it's going to look slightly different. So Naya had already done this, so hers doesn't show it. But right here, it would have a big box that says, hey, like something. It'll say something like, you look like you're new. Do you want to connect yourself? You have to do that. Because basically what you're doing, I had already paid for you to have an account. What you're doing is connecting yourself to the account that's already paid for. If you don't, it's going to really limit your access and you're not going to be able to do future assignments. So it's going to give you a big message the first time you log in. The district spends, just for Albion, they spent about $800 this year for all of these memberships. And that was just at Albion. That's not even the whole district. So it'll have a message that says that, and you're just going to follow the steps. It'll say something like, city, put Sandy. Then once you put Sandy, it'll give you the option to then put Albion, because it'll pop up with Albion. Then it's going to say middle school grad year. So if you're, this year, it's 2024 when I'm making this recording. So if you're a 7th grader right now, you would put that you graduate in 2025 as an 8th grader. If you're a current 8th grader, you're going to put that your middle school graduation is 2024. Okay. Then you'll connect yourself. It'll say submit. Then you can't do anything else until you get my attention. It could just be like a wave. It could be a coats. You can come over to me. But what I have to do after you've gone through that step is, I will show you this. On my teacher end of things, when I'm on my school roster, it'll have a big message right here for me that says, hey, there's a kid who's trying to connect themselves. Is that actually your student? And I have to go and physically say, yep, connect, and then you'll be able to do the next step. But you can't do anything until you've told me you're ready for me to connect you. Okay? Then you're allowed to put your initials here. Okay, we're almost done. You're almost through the hardest part here. So, I found out you do need to log out at this point after I've said, okay, I just connected you. You have to log out and log back in. You kind of have to force it to realize that you've been connected. Otherwise, it will prevent you from the next step. So the next step says, I know where to find my profile and NSDA points. So, again, like you just log in, and as soon as you log in, it brings you to this. That's what it brings you to, that this is your profile. It's got a bunch of information here. You can edit any of this if you want to. See this tab right here, points? In the future, we'll use this. So this person, she had earned some Honor Society points for some stuff. You won't have any yet, but you will in the future. So as soon as you have located that, then you can be like, yep, I know where to find that. This is the part where lots of people get confused, and you need this a lot in the future. So pay attention here. I know where to search for resources. So come back here, scroll up to the top, resources, all resources. Click on that. It's going to give you the spinning wheel of death for just a second. And so let it think. And then when it gets here, this is too many resources because there's 22 types of speech and debate and you want your specific type. So this is where you're going to pick the one that you are most interested in. So let's say that you are really interested in policy. Okay. So it's alphabetized. So click policy. Then it now just filtered their entire website for you. Okay. Notice how all these things have a check because Naya had followed all the directions. She had connected herself, told me she connected herself, logged out, logged back in, and now she has full access to everything. If you're seeing a bunch of locks, you did something wrong. Or you might need to wait for a little while until it realizes like, yeah, this kid's been connected, or try logging out and logging back in. Okay. So I know where to search for resources. Yep. I know how to filter. That was this over here. This is the filter. Now, one quick thing about filtering, if you're extemp is weird because in high school, they split extemp into two. In middle school, they're the same thing. But if you're extemp, you need to click two things. You need to click international extemp and US extemp. Don't click extemp debate or any of the other ones. Those are other separate types, but you're going to click international and US, and then it actually filters the right thing here. Okay. So yep, we know how to filter. And I know how to search, so you're putting all your initials here, and then this is the last part, and this part's really, really easy. It says, here are the specific documents or resources for my type of speech or debate that looked interesting that I skimmed through. So here's the easy way to do this, okay? You're going to look through the list, and when you get to one where you're like, yeah, no, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, this one looks interesting. We've got a demonstration. So you open it up. And you're going to briefly, like I want you to spend 30 seconds for each of these 5 things, right? Because on your checklist, it says you have to look through 5. You're picking ones that you think look interesting. So spend 30 seconds. You're like, okay, I'm kind of looking through here. Oh, I see what she's doing. She's demonstrating what she does. Okay, cool. Got it. Then after you've looked at it briefly, just come up and copy. You can literally copy and paste. You don't even have to type this yourself. And then, here, let me exit out of that so she's not making noise anymore. So then paste, boom, and just do that for 5. Now, before you turn this in, I recommend that you refresh the page a couple of times and make sure everything you did is actually showing up because, again, sometimes kids turn things in on Canvas. And when I see it on my teacher end of things, it doesn't actually show the last couple because it hadn't saved yet. So I recommend that after you turn this in, that you go and double check that it actually saved. Okay, so thank you for watching. And you do have another assignment now that is Albion Debate Google Drive. So that will be a separate recording. So do that next. Thanks.